Welcome to Guthrie Sports Page Television. Chris Evans with the head coach of the Guthrie Blue Jays, Coach Rafe Watkins, as the Guthrie Blue Jays get ready for senior night in the Shawnee Walls. And, Coach, before we get to some varsity football talk, the 7th grade, the 8th grade, and the freshmen are all went undefeated and playing for the conference championship. Unbelievable.
We're really proud of them. We've got a great group of kids coming. Our 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade are all undefeated. The 7th grade plays in the Super Saturday against Carl Albert over at Piedmont at 6 o'clock, and that's the bad thing. All three of these are played at 6 o'clock. It's a good thing that we're all in championship games, but it's bad that you can't watch all of them. The 8th grade then plays in the championship game against Noble, which they'd beat earlier in the year 38-36 in double overtime, so that should be an exciting game at Shawnee. And then our freshmen play at Chickasha at 6 o'clock against Carl Albert. So 2 Carl Albert finals and a Noble. So I'm very proud of our kids. Our junior high coaches did a great job this year preparing for them, and those should be exciting games on Saturday. It's supposed to be nice weather also.
Moving on to the Guthrie Carl Albert football game. Of course, that 20-game winning streak is snapped, and you hate for it to happen, but against a Carl Albert team, a very good Carl Albert team, at least it came in a big rival game.
Well, it's going to end somewhere. You don't ever want it to, obviously, but it's going to happen at some time or another. And when you play great teams like Carl Albert, I certainly would rather have it happen to Carl Albert as I would one of the lesser teams that we've played this year. So we had our opportunities. We blew 2 opportunities inside the red zone that we didn't score on. I know they had probably are sitting down there saying the same thing. They also had a touchdown called back. But overall, we had our opportunities to win the ball game. But the one thing I come out of it impressed with is that we know we didn't play our best football and still had a chance to win at the end. And they had some breaks. They had the great first play, no doubt about that. It was an outstanding play. But then on 4th and 7 down there late, Josh has pretty good coverage, tips the ball, they both fall on their back, and the ball falls into their hands, and then their kicker has a career-high field goal. So they did some things to win the ball game that, again, in that series, seems to happen. They probably last year were saying, well, if we hadn't have fumbled the second half kickoff. Right. 2 years ago down here, if we hadn't have fumbled on that last drive going in to score to win. When you have tight games and big rivalry like that, you're going to come down to 1 or 2 plays, and that's just the way it is.
You had to be impressed with the defense. Only give up 16 points to opponent offense, and you had some players out with injuries, and you had some young guys in there.
Yeah, we had that was the new thing for our defensive kids, the young kids in there. That's a big time atmosphere. They'd been in some decent games this year. The McGinnis game, nothing like this game though. It's a total different ball game down there on it. And that first play, we had 2 sophomores that were still looking at the surroundings around, and it didn't matter what number he had on. I know that's been a big topic around, but the number doesn't matter if it's 8, 85, 99, or if it's in a pink neon jersey. The bottom line is we didn't get wood on the tight end, and we did not do our read steps and run keys or pass keys there. So it was a good play. Good thing was it was a perfect pass also. It wasn't like he went back there and stopped and caught it and then took off running. It hit him in stride. We were going to have everything perfect on that play with a great athlete on there.
Having said that, does the rule need to be changed next year?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with the rule. I mean, this isn't the first time this has been done in history. That's what, people say. Half the people think that it's a rotten thing to do, and half the people think it's the best trick play ever. It happens all the time. I mean, I've seen people put different numbers on before, and we've had people in games against us that's had different numbers. Not intentionally, but Skyler's last year, we've had that one white jersey, 33 was gone, so he was wearing 47 in white and was wearing 33 in blue, and unless you just knew about it, I guess you could look at that saying it's switching numbers, but it wasn't intentional. But no, I don't think there's no real change in it. It's the legal number, and so there's no reason to it. We knew they didn't have a number 85, and whoever they put there was a great athlete. So that's immaterial.
Sure did think it was a quick tight end when I first saw it happen. He was quick.
Yeah, he's pretty good tight end. He's pretty good DB, pretty good wide receiver. Could be a good, probably quarterback if you put him there. He's a great athlete.
No doubt about that. Of course, moving on now, that's in the past. Moving on to the Shawnee Wolves, Coach. You talk about an offense that's complex and will throw a lot at your defense this week.
Well, it's a lot of formations. They're very good. Coach Brown has done exactly and probably put even more into it after Coach Whitson left over there. I thought we'd get away from some of the formations they do. Coach Brown has continued to use those and probably even added more to it with the great athletes. They just put you in some bad situations, and if you're not sound and defend them, you can't defend everything. You can't just have a defense for every formation they give you. That's just too overwhelming for the kids. Yeah. You try to stay as base as possible, but yet you still have to know what they're coming at you with that. And so defensively, Coach Beebe and the staff has done a great job of getting them ready for that. But year in and year out, Shawnee always probably gives us more matchup problems offensively for our defense than Carl Albert does, because Carl Albert, you know what they're going to do. I mean, you just got to stop it. That's the problem sometimes there. With Shawnee, they get in so many crazy things, and you got to know who's on, who's covered up, who's not eligible, who is eligible. There's a lot of things that you have to be smart about with Shawnees, and year in and year out, they probably gave us more trouble. 3 years ago down there, they beat us for the district championship 35-7 that night. They were the best team in the state. And then that's when all the Tucker Brown stuff started as far as in the next game against Booker T. But that night that they played us, they were as good as anybody. Last year in the quarterfinals, great game. They come out and played as well offensively, scored as many points as anybody had scored on us all year long, and did a great job, had a shootout with them. This year, I honestly think that they may not be quite as good offensively as they were last year, due to the fact that Tucker was so outstanding. But I'll tell you what is better for them is their offensive line. They lost a lot of seniors, and I thought that's where they may be down this year. Their offensive line's better than it was last year. They've got 4 juniors that are just outstanding. They have one of the best tight ends, I think, in that Josh Lennox. He's overlooked a lot of the time. Why, I don't know. That kid is an outstanding tight end. I'd love to have him. He's always been one of my favorites that we play against. He's a good kid, great athlete. And, and their tailback this year is doing great things for them. I just went blank on his name, number 6. He is a very good tailback, probably quite a bit better than the kid that they've had the last 2 years. Maybe not as strong a runner, but a lot quicker. And then we've mentioned all these names without even mentioning who I think might be the best high school football player that we play against this year in Brett Davis. I mean, the guy does it all. He's just a warrior last year in that quarterfinal game against us, and they're a very, very good football team. And then you throw him into the mix, he's a special player.
Of course, you've won the last 3 games, but you look at this Guthrie Shawnee series, 4 games you've won, 4 games you've lost, and you add all those 8 games together, Guthrie comes out with a 5-point advantage, 29-24. That doesn't mean nothing, but it does mean it's a good series.
Well, it is, and it's traditionally our game 1, and so therefore it's always been a rivalry here for Guthrie for years and years and years. It's been the game 1. A few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, they were in our district, and they won 1 and we won 1. We won the first one down here, the last game of old Jelsma, as a matter of fact. And then the next year, of course, they beat us in that 35-7 game over there for the district championship. And then, like you said, we beat them the last 2 years and 3 games in that 2 years.
So, a big game. It could be for a home playoff game.
Well, it is for a home playoff. I mean, our district's pretty much, I know there's scenarios out there, but let's just cut and dry. Carl Albert's the district champion. They're going to get the first seed. The winner of this game will be number 2. The loser will be number 3. And then week 10, Ardmore and Durant, whoever wins that game will be a 4 seed. And, I mean, again, you can look at all the scenarios in the world, and I guess if there's some things that hop up and just crazy stuff happen, but realistically, that's what's going to be. I mean, whoever wins this game will be number 2 and have a home playoff game. Number 3 will be on the road.
And now, how's the injury situation? I know the Bohans were out last week, and
we're pretty good right now. Actually, we come out of it very healthy. I was very pleased with how Clayton played last week. I think his knee is fully recovered. Little Bohan is back. Dustin is this week. His foot injury is healed up, and so he'll be able to play some. And Willie has gotten better. He played some last week, very limited, but he's going to be able to play for us this week. So health-wise, we're in pretty good shape.
Last note, Coach, ESPN Rice had Jelsma Stadium as the number 13th best stadium to watch a football game.
It was. That's a great honor for our community and our program and everything. And if you got on there and looked at some of them, I mean, there's some old. There was a lot of them that was like Jelsma the old, and then you had some of the new, and you had some of the historic. The one that was up there in Washington, though, it is a pretty nice stadium. The one that was right there with the turf and the Puget Sound right there on the backside, that was pretty sharp. But I'll take Jelsma over all of them anytime.
Coach, best of luck Friday.
All right, thank you.
For our head coach, Rafe Watkins, I'm Chris Evans. Thank you for watching Guthrie Sports Page Television.